So the mother wound is the mother of all wounds, because having a mother wound means you have the greatest of the wounds that you can possibly have, because especially if you're a woman, the mother wound turns into a self wound, meaning what you went through with your mother, how she treated you, how you feel, is now basically the way that you feel and treat yourself. You feel about and you treat yourself. The mother becomes the mirror of who we are since the day that we are born. And if you're a mother, don't watch this thinking, oh no, I'm a horrible mother. Watch this as a daughter first, and then you can translate the experience to the mother. But if you're born from a mother that is depressed, absent, addicted, all over the place, unable to see you, unable to meet you, there's no reference point for you to see, first of all, that you exist. Second of all, that you matter. Third of all, that you're worthy, that you're lovable. Like there's no reference point. Because a child learns what they're worth, if they're worth anything, and that they exist, because the world responds to them. And before we go into this, I want to tell you, think about this following thing. And I did this with clients when I used to do one-on-one in-person sessions. I would have a client, I would say, talk to me, and I'll pretend I'm going to be here, but I'm not going to respond. So I would just give them a heads up. And then they would start to talk to me like, listen to me, whatever, trying to get my attention. And I would just turn around and eventually you would see them feel so stressed because they're like, why are you not listening? We had agreed that I'm not going to respond. But still, when we're not responded to, right? When we talk to someone and they don't see us, they don't look at us, it feels very confusing. And for a moment, we'll think, do I exist? Am I even here, right? Adding to this is, am I even here? Am I worthy? Are my needs worthy of being met? Am I a burden, right? However she sees you is how you see yourself. But adding to this, and she's a narcissistic mother, then you're cooked, because on top of her not being responsive or kind or empathic, she's in a lot of ways actively almost feels like she hates you. So on top of feeling the things that you would feel with a normal mother who failed you in many ways, having the narcissistic mother will then make it so that you are looking at somebody who hates you, which again is a mirror to how you see yourself. So the mother wound is the mother of wounds because it shapes everything that you internally use to construct the idea and the concept of who you are, including your sense of worth, whether the world is a safe place, whether you can trust others or yourself, whether you're allowed to have needs or that your needs matter, whether you belong, whether you're lovable, whether you are deserving of receiving care and space and emotional space when you need it, whether you are feeling safe enough to go close to someone and to be intimate or not, whether you are going to be comfortable with being seen and perceived, whether you are going to feel allowed to have any expectations in relationships, whether you're allowed to have boundaries. It will shape how you speak to yourself, how you see yourself, how you view your body. And specifically, if she's a narcissistic mother, you will also develop a lot of other layers of viewing yourself under a lens that is very misogynistic and cruel and hating of the nature of being a woman. You'll have shame around your femininity and your sexuality. You will be very confused about what it means like to be a woman, and also a very confusing relationship with women altogether. You kind of want to be around women, to be their friend and all that, but you don't feel safe because the first woman that you were close to was your biggest bully, right? You will possibly be passed on a lot of internalized misogyny. You will maybe competitive against other women because you don't feel safe around them. You will have a lot of shame around your desire, around your pleasure, around succeeding, basically a lot of toxic shame. And you will have a lot of difficulty celebrating yourself, feeling comfortable to be yourself, speaking about yourself in a highly manner, right? In a good manner. And maybe you go out and achieve all sorts of things, but you will feel fundamentally unworthy your entire life. And on top of that, if you're raised by a narcissistic, competitive, mean mother, there's going to be a ceiling up to what you will allow yourself to achieve because you will not want to surpass her because you know that you achieving things provokes punishment, and historically you've known that to be true. And when you're achieving, you have experienced what it's like to be jealous, for someone to be jealous of you and actively trying to ruin that for you. So you will develop this inner system that sort of like has a specific ceiling as to where it lets you go and how much you will succeed. And if you are to surpass it, you will instantly fail or sabotage yourself to get out of there. Because all of these things are happening internally, right? So having a mother would be the guiding force to shape how you view womanhood, motherhood, right? Altogether. How you view your body and your femininity, your relationship to other women, your relationship to existing, and also how the world responds to you, right? So no matter what mother you got, narcissistic, codependent, absent, depressed, disabled, doesn't really matter. This isn't a blame game. And specifically, a lot of the work I do really addresses all of these things, but it's, as you can see, the answer is never go tell her to fix something. It's always like identify what happened and come back and heal it. But whatever mother raised you has left you with a specific mother wound, depending on the failings that she sort of relational failings between you and her. And it is important that you address those failings because when you do, you'll also see how they've been leaking through the way you see yourself and the world and love and whether you believe that you deserve to be here. And also, it will explain a lot about their relationships that you're currently in every single aspect. So the mother wound is the mother of all wounds, and it is evidently a self wound, which is why you need to reparent yourself. This is how we heal the mother wound, not through going to the mother, raising her, making her a better mother, teaching her how to mother us. This is done. It's done already. And yeah, we can work through some things with her and build a relationship if that is possible. Not always the case. But I would say the best chance that you have is heal the relationship with yourself by reparenting and start working towards creating warm and loving relationships with other women in your life that are safe, unlike your mother, that are available, that are welcoming, they want to listen to you, and you're not a burden to them, right? They have space for you. They're not entangled in their own codependency and drama bond with your father, and you're just like there trying to get some attention. They have time and space for you, and basically they have time and space to be present in relationships, right? So if you are on your healing journey, I mean, in my own process and in healing, with everybody I've worked, the mother wound is the first thing I will work, but particularly for women. But anybody who's been born has a mother wound in one way or the next. It just, when we're women, it just comes with everything else, which is why we need to look at how we were raised by her, how she failed us, how it impacted how we see ourselves, and then the deeper things, right? The society that she was raised in taught her also a lot of things about womanhood and a lot of the shame that we carry about who we are as women, what is possible for us, our sexualities, our bodies. All of these things come from our mothers, because mothers, even if they don't do it consciously or, proud that they have done it, are really the carriers of patriarchy, because with their, first of all, the authority that they have over their daughters, because mostly parents are like, fathers are like, just you deal with your daughters. They will do all these things, but also they will try to raise us in a way to be safe in the world. And the only way they know to be safe is to gain proximity to a man. So from a young age, they will tell us, look this way, be this way. You shouldn't be that way. through the lens of what men want, because men don't want that. Because in their mind, they're thinking, I want you to find someone to marry, regardless if she's married somebody who is absolutely a loser and it turned out really badly. She will want you to go down that path, not just because of, arguably there's also the elements of jealousy. She will not let you do more than she has done, but also in terms of how collectively, and we try generationally to give our daughters the script that we're giving her. We're thinking it's the script of success, and the script that a lot of women are passing to their daughters is the success script of patriarchy, which is anything but successful really for us women. But it is a script, right? Do this, look this way, be this way, learn how to cook, clean, take care of a man, have his children, be like this, be like that, right? So the women that raise us inevitably carry a lot of that, which is why as women now that we're collectively healing, and those of you that are mothers are in this pivotal moment of history where when you decondition yourself, not only from your own personal wounds in terms to what happened to you with your mother and how you view yourself, but also the indoctrination, right? The toxicity, the conditioning that is patriarchal and is making us go through these journeys of our lives with the ultimate goal to be married and have kids. It means you'll raise daughters that are going to be free, right? Because if you're going to be setting yourself free, obviously, you're going to want your daughter to be free. You will not pass on the same script. You will pass on the slip of freedom, right? And which is what we're also doing here as we're teaching. I'm also trying to teach you and pass on to you the freedom slip, which is why I always say a healed woman is a free woman. And everything I do is in the service of that. And I do it through everything that I'm teaching you, but also through a very organized way through my program Heal, which I address both childhood trauma, but then we have another phase that we're dealing with the conditioning. Because I want you to become a sovereign woman in the maximum capacity that you can reclaim your freedom. And that will not only affect you and your own wounds and what you do with your own life, it will affect everybody's life. If you have daughters, if you have friends, if your friends have daughters, if your sisters have daughters, if you're teaching, writing, doing anything that you're doing, a free woman that is going to heal will inevitably leak all of that to everyone around her, right? And I said this in other videos, we are taught that we should be giving through a self-abandonment and do things for others. But in reality, it's not through that. The more we heal, the more free we are, the more we can inspire the women around us to set themselves free as well. And we can begin to raise daughters and girls that are going to be sovereign and not abiding to any script. And don't go too far. Years ago, the life that we have now was some radical feminist woman's idea, right? Equality. She's supposed to work. She's allowed to work. She can have her own bank account. She can stay single. Like, why? And all of these things that we're now became choices and opportunities that we have been visions of women who could see clearly, right? Who didn't operate within the script. Who didn't just take the script and be like, okay, here's the script. I was given this. You do it too, right? I remember when I was a kid, my mom would say something, and I would say to her from a very young age, I would say, why are you even thinking I would want to get married? I'm seeing you two, and I don't think it's worth it. She says, don't look at us. This is different. This is different. And I'm like, how is it different, right? What has changed, right? But that's the script they've been given. And even if the intentions, again, some mothers are malicious, mean, and abusive and hate you. Other mothers are just naive and insecure and immature. Other mothers, through that insecurity, will guide you to live the same life because they don't want more for you. And others don't know that there's more for you because they have no idea that there was more for them either. And that's what we're going to change when we do our own healing work, specifically reparenting, even more specifically, remothering ourselves. And the way we do that is the way that I keep telling you we do that. Inner child work, revisit the past, find moments in time, start thinking of our younger self, and start looking at our past from a way of a compassionate witness that then slowly becomes an inner fierce mother. And I say fierce because eventually when you remember what happened to you, you're not going to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, your mother also. You're going to be so quick to protect yourself. You're not going to doubt yourself. You're not going to be like, yeah, maybe you should also. No, it's going to be easier for you to set boundaries, to protect yourself, to assert yourself, to stop apologizing, to stop people pleasing. It's going to be easier to know that the first instinct, no matter what happens, is to defend yourself rather than the first instinct to be, let me fix the environment, let me fix my attitude, let me change my ways, let me blame myself. None of that. Because what happens? Through reparenting, through a childhood audit, going back to the past, remembering who we are and growing into loving who we are, we're finally beginning to see ourselves through clean eyes and not through projections or unavailable or depression or whatever it was that we saw in that mirror of our mother. In Heal, I have this session called the mirrors, the 7 mirrors. And it's always the same. It's unbelievable. So many people do these sessions and everybody comes to the same conclusions, right? Different reflections, different things. I walk you through how you've been seen, right? And then at the end, all the women write to me how they're able to finally see themselves for who they are. But for you to do that, it takes a lot of, taking away all the projections. And to take away all the projections, you have to really start seeing what was a projection, right? What happened to you, how you were seen, what you were made to believe, how it impacted you, what you were taught about you as a person, and then you as a woman. You deconstruct and you heal from those things. And then slowly you come to this inner space where you are understanding yourself as somebody who isn't viewed by how others see them, but it's somebody that you're experiencing from within, right? You're not a defined thing of like, I am this, and that. I am me. And that exists within me and it's fluid. And one day I'm like this, and the next I may have a different sort of idea of something. And sometimes I can be angry, and sometimes I can be quiet, and sometimes we're fluid and we're so many things. And we can be creative, and we can be nurturing, and we can be wild. We can be all the things, right? We have a lot of expressions of our femininity. We're not just soft and meek and all of that joke. We are so many things. And for us to own those things and to be those things without trying to force ourselves into boxes, we have to address our mother wound. We have to become honest about what happened to us when we were growing up and show up to reparent ourselves, to remother ourselves, and become the mother that we needed. And this mother that we needed, we slowly merge into who we are. We don't have to always remother ourselves. That's another thing I want to tell you. A lot of people do inner child work and, for many years, but eventually I also had a client once, I said to them, we had worked everything out, and I said, you know what? Kindergarten's closed. No more inner children to look for. Now you show up as an adult. We've recollected. There's no perfection here. But eventually you don't operate as an inner mother, inner father, inner this, because the inner family begins to merge and you become you. And you're no longer these scattered concepts because at first you need them, right? To kind of put yourself together. And then eventually they all merge together. And then the experience of yourself doesn't come through parts. You're whole. You're a little bit more coherent and whole. So that means you just experience yourself as somebody who exists. You don't look at yourself through external lenses and points of views. You don't have an opinion of yourself. You don't constantly try to fix yourself or perfect yourself. You experience yourself. Something you weren't allowed to do, or the circumstances didn't allow you to. But now it can change as you do your own inner child healing work. And you're very welcome to join Heal if you want some help to do that. That's it for today. I will see you soon.